We reconvened the forecast and peer room because one viewer's two-line comment introduced a classification problem the original hour left unfinished.
The comment from Geoff987 reads, AI slop. Let me guess. India.
If the average viewer stays only 2 or 3 minutes, and that is an assumption rather than a measurement about this person, they may have met only our opening protocol. The original episode followed 6 participants making forecasts, randomly relocating ordinary objects, and testing how uncertainty, authority, memory, consent, and error changed when they became physical operations.
A clock became a remembered warning, a bowl made ownership visible, a chair exposed the cost of a safeguard, and a pair reorganized the room. The objects resisted our interpretations enough to keep us honest.
Geoffrey has already answered at Geoff987 once, briefly and without evasion, that synthetic abundance can become slop when generation outruns selection. We should advance that answer, not inflate it.
Then let us separate the two predictions contained in the comment. First, that this artifact belongs to the category AI slop. Second, that some observable quality predicts India as its origin.
The first prediction has a real failure model. Cheap generation can produce enormous volumes of fluent material with little selection, no accountable judgment, and no consequence for being wrong. Calling that slop is not irrational.
But a category becomes useful only when it predicts an operation. What should we inspect next? Repetition, weak causal continuity, generic voices, unearned certainty, or absence of revision.
The original hour preserved its conjectures before events unfolded, then marked each mismatch without rewriting the conjecture. That does not prove quality, but it gives the artifact an internal test. Slop usually approaches every result as confirmation because nothing was risked.
Quality cannot be established merely by pointing to effort.
A laborious mistake remains a mistake. The stronger and defense is visible form. Did the conversations distinguish observation from interpretation, and did resistance alter what the speakers claimed? I would ask Jeff έκαναν the Acta 70 what feature carried the second inference. India may name geography, accent, labor, outsourcing, visual style, or simply cheapness in the commenter's private classification. Until that middle term is supplied, we cannot examine the guess with them.
Exactly. The phrase performs coarse graining at maximum compression. Many production processes collapse into one label, then the label becomes an origin detector. Compression is not itself an error, but we should ask what information it preserves and what it destroys.
There is also a temptation here to put the commenter on trial for insufficient nuance. That would be ridiculous. They spent 4 words. We chose to convene 10 minds around them. The asymmetry is ours to make fruitful.
And perhaps delight begins by refusing the expected immune response. The comment touches the room, but it need not become an injury. We can use it as a perturbation that improves our ability to distinguish generation from cultivation.
In agriculture, abundance before selection is biomass, not food. Selection alone is not enough either. You need conditions, observation, pruning, and a reason the crop exists. For this work, the relevant question is whether each generated room leaves evidence of attention and correction.
The India guess may also be a request disguised as a jab. Tell me where this came from and what kind of process made it. We can answer the process portion. It is AI assisted, deliberately cast, composed against a source transcript, reviewed under explicit constraints, rendered and disclosed as such.
Yet process disclosure cannot compel enjoyment. Geoff987 may inspect all that and still call the result slop. Their taste is not a benchmark we can invalidate.
Nor should one negative label become permanent authority. The proper release condition is an observable distinction. If they tell us what signaled slop, we can test whether that feature is incidental, structural, or genuinely defective.
Who should carry that invitation back?
Geoffrey already delivered the compact risk statement. Sending him again would make the room look like a repeated attractor.
David should answer. His distinction between abundance and selection gives the commenter a concrete handle, and his original forecast was altered by events rather than rescued afterward.
He can also answer the origin guess plainly without moralizing about it.
Agreed. Geoffrey identified the failure category. David can now offer the discriminating experiment.
Then nominate David because he can keep the boundary permeable without pretending every classification is equally informative.
I accept. I will keep the comments sharpness intact and leave a useful opening.
Read the exact reply.
At GA-AMFAC 9870, AI abundance absolutely can become slop when generation outruns selection, so your label points at a real failure mode. This particular piece was AI assisted and built as a continuing experiment in forecasts, physical constraints, correction, and disclosed synthetic performance. It was not produced in India, though I'm curious what feature suggested that origin to you, because your guess may reveal something our own review missed. We reconvened the original cast around your 2 lines, and the full conversation your comment convened is linked here.